For the Rangers, it's obvious. It's got to be Igor Shesterkin. I mean, he stole the regular season series 100%. This is really the first NHL playoff action for the guy. He's far and away the Vezina Trophy winner for this 2021-22 NHL season, and he is the X factor for the New York Rangers. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
You're absolutely right. I mean, just to be different, I'll try and find and throw another name out there. But he's going to be what decides the series for the Rangers. And he's been what's decided most of the season for them.
Yeah.
Sure, he slacked a little bit in the middle of the year, but I mean, come on. When you play how many games? 53 games. That's actually a little less than I thought it was. When you play 53 games, though, as a goalie, you're going to have your downswing eventually at some point. But he still finished 36-13-4 with a .935 save percentage. I mean, those are just phenomenal numbers. That's Vezina. That's a Vezina winner right there. We're going to have to play our first round against the Vezina winner without Tristan Jarry. Best of luck to us. Again, I'll get the playoff tingles, but, you know. To just pick a different name, though, and just to be a little different, I'm going to say Adam Fox. Again, now I'm picking the Norris winner.
Yeah.
It doesn't get easy, but that's just another name that he's a defenseman, but by God, can he score like a forward? So that's going to be hard to shut down, especially for this Penguins team who is shaky at best on defense. So keeping Adam Fox to the blue line is going to be difficult, but he's going to be another reason. If it's going to come down to, like you said, Panarin, Shesterkin, and probably Adam Fox in this series, I think it's possible to shut down Kreider. It's possible to get a hand on Zibanejad. They're hard players to play against, but I think it's possible to give them their due. Much like playing Patrick Kane, just stick a guy on him. Stick a guy on him, and he can't do anything. Stick a guy on one of those two, and you have something. Adam Fox, you stick a guy on, he's found a way around it already.
Yeah.
Shesterkin stops pucks, so it's a matter of time.
So looking at the Penguins side of things, my X factor for the Pittsburgh Penguins is big number 71, Evgeny Malkin. Obviously, we know Crosby's going to do stuff. We know Gensel's going to perform, even though he hasn't in the last 3 postseasons. Those guys are probably going to be all right. I don't have to worry about their performance dipping too much. But the Penguins need Evgeny Malkin, not only because they need that second line for matchup sake at 5-on-5. He needs to be able to perform with Raquel, with Heinen, with Zucker if he comes back. But the Penguins' power play basically feeds through Evgeny Malkin. If he is on his game, you see those big clap bombs from the top that are nearly impossible for goaltenders to stop. They need him to get going on the power play and to get going at 5-on-5. Evgeny Malkin is my X factor for the Penguins.
I agree with that one. Nothing about Evgeny Malkin. Not only does he need to do all that, he needs to get the fan base back behind him again.
I don't even care about that. For his sake and for the Penguins' sake, he just needs to perform for the Penguins' sake. I don't care about the fan base right now. Obviously, the offseason stuff is the offseason stuff, and I get what's going to happen if he doesn't perform. But for the team's sake, the X factor in this series, Malkin needs to perform.
You're right. He needs to get the fan base back behind him so he can have some confidence. He's one of the few players that has social media and kind of uses it. You think he doesn't see what goes on? Come on. He can barely read English, but he knows. I'm sure he can read Evgeny Malkin sucks. I'm sure he can read that. I'm sure it gets under his skin.
He's been in this country for 17 seasons. If we think that he can't spell, speak, or read at this point, then we're the naive ones. He can do all of it.
Of course, but he needs to get the fan base back behind him, especially in a off season where his contract is up. To pick a X factor for me, I got to go with the newbie, Rickard Rakell, Malkin's line mate for now. And he's going to be an X factor because he should be pushed back up to the first line.
Yeah.
He should be producing with Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
We've already seen what he can do. I think it's important for him to continue to prove that. Also, in a contract year, normally you don't. When we picked him up, I think a lot of people were looking at him as this is purely a rental. We're not going to keep him around. And then he did what he did. And it was, hey, here's 3 more years all of a sudden. Sometimes the rental pieces mean the most to your playoff run. Jerome Iginla, we didn't win, but meant a lot to that run. Marian Hossa, those are his whole career. That was his career playoff point peak.
Yep.
With the Penguins. Nothing came of it, but you know what? He meant so much to that run. So these rental pieces mean a lot. For right now, Rickard Rakell is still a rental piece. He can mean a lot to this team and to this organization if he can if he can make some noise in this postseason.